Okay, so oh, don't clap, girl. So today we're just getting to know your face painter.
Nothing but good vibes. Let's get this started right. Life's a groove, moving smooth, taking flight.
My name is Brooke Hepburn with Pure Energy Entertainment, and this is
Lilly. I actually have two businesses. I am the owner and operator of Sparrow Face Painting here locally in San Antonio. Also, Sparrow Henna. So I also do henna, make henna, sell henna, and use it for gigs.
awesome. And you have your stencils too.
Yes, I make stencils. So Sparrow Stencil Supply, which a lot of face painters are like, oh my God, you like that's your thing? And I'm like, yes. So I'm the face and the hands behind Sparrow Stencil Supply.
Awesome. On Etsy.
On Etsy, yes.
Okay, so when did you start face painting?
So I tell this story to a lot of parents because they always ask. And I actually hired a face painter, and I won't mention her name because she is local to San Antonio. 20 years ago, I hired a face painter, and my daughter was super not happy with that entertainer. So she did clowning, balloons, and face painting. And so she did show up as a clown, which was great. The family liked it, but on her website, she posted that she could do like these fantastic, fabulous, full face paintings. And all she did on my daughter was a heart and a sun. And every picture that I took of my daughter, she was angry. She was so upset. And so we thought we were getting like this big face paint. So after that failed, I did pay her out. I let her know that we were expecting bigger face painting. And so I ended up looking online. I ordered like $800 worth of stuff because I didn't know what was safe or what was okay to use. And then tried everything out, and I started practicing.
Wow. Do you think that maybe like the dress, that makes me kind of think about myself because I dress up for everything. Do you think that her dress up and stuff kind of compensated for not being as well of an artist?
I think so.
Yeah.
The flashy. Mm-hmm.
Right. Because you feel like more of an entertainer and you don't have to put as much effort into the art part of it, maybe.
And she did mention that. She said, well, when I come out to parties, I do a magic show as a clown, and so the face painting is not. And I guess that didn't really compute to me as a parent not knowing about face paint. Mm-hmm. I just thought every face painter knew how to face paint. So the following year, I thought, I'm going to get all this practice in. And I went to a local softball field that had all these kiddos, like a ton of kids. Yeah. And it was like middle class to lower class income. So I asked the owners, and I said, can I set up just for tips? You know, I wasn't trying to make money. At that time I was married, and I had someone that fully supported me financially 100%. So this was just like me trying to do something else. I just saw the most popular face paintings on Google, simple face paintings. And it took me 20 minutes to do one simple face paint, but I kept going. I did that for the entire year, every weekend.
Oh, wow.
And then once I got to my daughter's party, I thought, I got this down. So I painted my daughter. She was ecstatic. What I didn't think about was hosting the party. I have to serve people. I have to clean. I have to pick up. I have to, hi, how are you? Come on in, da-da-da. Here's the food. Here's whatever. And I'm sitting trying to face paint. So I didn't, I should have thought about that.
Yeah.
So the following year, we just didn't have face paint. But I felt like a success because my daughter was happy.
Yeah.
And then after everybody saw what I painted during the party, I just started getting calls from friends, from their friends. I've never advertised. I've never had to. So it's always been word of mouth.
Nice.
Luckily.
Yeah. That's so good. Yeah, I feel like I did the same thing where I just like volunteered, or if I saw someone post about having a party, hey, I'll come, and I just did a lot of stuff for free for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then, but for me, I actually was sharing pictures, and now that we were just talking about that, I post everything, every single party. Social media is just the place to be nowadays. Like back then, if you're saying 20 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. I've been doing it for 12 years. Back then, Facebook had just started from MySpace.
Just started.
So it really wasn't a big thing to do things on social media. But now there's absolutely no reason you can't get your name out there and let people know what you do, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's so funny that you were inspired by someone who dresses up. Because like I said, that I dress up, and I said it made me think about me, because I think in the beginning, I started dressing up because I had a guy ask me, why do people pay you to travel when they could just hire someone local? And I didn't know how to answer that. Like, I was like, I don't know. I was just like really popular on Facebook. I had a lot of following. So people just I have traveled to 30 states and 2 countries face painting.
Oh my God, I have not.
Yeah. So I've done a lot with different companies and agencies and stuff, but I didn't know how to answer that. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start dressing up, and that'll be my little different thing. But I never thought about it like being an entertainer and being a professional looked at as 2 separate things until I talked to you, because you were like, I wear black pants and a black shirt, you know, with your fun quotes on there, face painting thing, and because you wanted to be taken serious, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So in my initial experience with said face painter, she did dress up like a clown. After she left, there were comments like, what is a lady that age dressing up like that for? Like, it looks ridiculous. And that's fine. You know, they wanted to say what they wanted to say. I think, I truly feel like if it makes you happy, do it. I personally, growing up, I was constantly made fun of by my entire family. And so a part of that is good, because now if people say something to me, it doesn't matter. I'm like, dude, my mom has roasted me worse than all of y'all. But so I can take it. On the other side of that, I feel like, because I've painted for people who have like maids and servants in their homes, and so I wanted to be taken seriously by them, not just by them, everybody. And I knew that I had to do something, because when I was sitting next to a chicken coop face painting, that's when I had it. That was my last straw. So I thought, you know what, I need to take myself more seriously. So I did start dressing up a certain way instead of just regular casual clothes, face painting on my shirt, or this one I go to work with, and just dressing in all black, because I feel like that already you think in your mind makeup artist. So
yeah,
and I feel that I am more respected, because I do see a bunch of people that dress up and we do gigs together. Like you know, you just show up and you see other entertainers, and I just feel like they don't always take those entertainers seriously, and I don't want to argue or fight or defend myself. And so in order to just avoid all of that negativity, I just dress this way. Should I let other people affect how I'm dressing or doing? No, but I'm very, very happy dressing in the makeup artist look. And I'm comfortable. That's my number one, is comfort.
Yeah.
So, and I have had many clients in the past, can you please dress up like a clown? Can you please dress up like this or that? And I'm like, no. If you're hiring me, that's for face paint. You're getting my skill level. That's what you're getting.
Which is absolutely amazing, by the way. But I think you like hit the nail on the head, because we already, like, being an artist in any field, you get scrutiny for not being, that's not a real job. Like, it's just not a 9-to-5. People think there's no security in it. In all actuality, nobody's ever going to stop having parties or events and festivals, and
kids are forever.
So we have more security than most people that have been on a job for 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, but I also feel like mentally and self-love wise, you have to make space for what you know that you can handle and find peace in. And I think with your experiences, and you said you were made fun of, you know, so much growing up, you have to protect your peace now and to be able to continue to do what you love.
Right.
Like for me, I dress up, but I had a family member tell me that, I'm sorry you didn't have a better childhood where you got to be more of a child, because I did have to grow up so young. Then you wouldn't feel like a grown adult having to be a princess, like making fun of me for dressing up. And at first that made me mad and it hurt me. But in reality, like, maybe a part of me is healing that child by dressing up and being there for other children.
Yes.
Sorry. But sincerely, that probably is where my passion for dressing up comes from. But that's the space that I've made for myself, and that makes sense. Yep. And hearing your story and talking to you before, it also reminded me that we all have our own path and our own journey that we've been traveling on, and it has to make sense for you. So what I'm advertising and showing doesn't mean that someone else watching that wants to face paint has to do that. And what you're doing doesn't mean they have to do that. You have to find your own space. So do you feel like you found a good spot in your professional career where you are treated respectfully always, or do you still go through certain circumstances where people kind of are not as respectful because you're still a face painter?
I do find that now, after 20 years, I am highly respected, and I feel like face paint for me, and I know for a lot of us, is my healing journey. It really is my healing journey from my childhood. And I didn't find that out till I got to like year 3. When people were just like, they praise you, you know, and it's like instant gratification, and the kid was happy, and I'm like, oh, I did great, you know, type of thing. When as a child, I felt like I couldn't do anything right. So,
or never good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And mom never called my name. It was like all the other 11 kids' names before she got to my name. So she couldn't even remember my name. But I feel that now especially, I am respected.
No, you're not being respectful. You sure? Because that felt like disrespect.
And also I love, you know, I love the compliments. I love hearing, oh my God, we just went to Disneyland and you are way better and way faster.
That's my favorite.
And, you know, SeaWorld, Fiesta, Texas, I love that their experiences with me are like that much more memorable and better. Absolutely. So I hardly ever get anybody saying anything disrespectful. If anything, it's like higher tips. My most popular design is a $15 rainbow mask, and
With the heart.
and people always tip $20 over. So it's, you know, it makes me feel like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm loved, you know, for the work, for the hours I've put in practicing at home. And it feels good to not have to practice. You just wake up and do it, you know. And I definitely didn't feel that way year 1 to 5. I felt like I was shaking, you know. There's all these things of trying to do a great job, and now it's just like what I live and breathe.
That's so good. I feel like people are always asking me now, like, are you okay? Because I sweat. Even after 12 years, I still, if a kid's like moving a lot or there's a lot of people or something, my nerves make my face sweat. So I'm like, just still want it to be so good, and I want the kids to be happy. Like, so I get where you're saying, like, there is so much strength in being able to bring so much joy that you gain from it. At the same time, when there is a negative experience or you know, a back and forth that's not so complimentary, it could be just as destructive. Have you ever experienced something like that brought you down more than it should have because it happened at work?
With face paint, I have to say the only time I can think of, and of course, you know, something bad happens, we like hold on to it forever and we never forget it. But the only thing that comes to mind is when a boy asked for Wolverine. I did blue Wolverine, and he's like, don't you know anything? He was like 8 years old. Wolverine is yellow and brown. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I said, can you go ahead and tell my complaint department? And he's like, and he turns, and I have my husband there. And he turns and he looks at him and he goes, never mind. And he walks off. And so I'm like, you know, that was the only time that he was kind of rude. But I was like, he's a kid. You know, I have to remember, like, he's a kid.
Yeah.
So, but parents, absolutely not. Like, I've never, not that I can think of. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I know we talked about the other day, like, people having a hard time paying.
Oh, my God.
But not directly. And that's disrespectful, I feel like. Because
$5.
It's like devaluing your, you know, what you do, the worth of what you do, but it's not really directed to you. So I get why.
Yeah. The monetary thing, I think, especially nowadays, because the economy is where it's at in the United States. You know, everything is going up except the paychecks. So except the income. So now that everything is exponentially expensive, it seems like or feels like to those people who can't afford an extra entertainment like face painting, $5 is a huge deal. So I feel like, and you know, honestly, I have other parents that say, your prices are the cheapest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
5, 10, and 15. And so I raised them. I raised my prices recently and nobody's complained.
Yeah.
If not, you know, if anything, there's tips involved. And so it makes me happy that that particular lady, business owner, she felt like I should charge way more.
Just to touch on the economy and stuff, I know for us, we have face painting, bounce houses, DJ, we have Etsy, we have, you know, I have several different, I sell Avon still.
Oh, nice.
But it's like you have different businesses too. It's almost like there are opportunities to be in a place where you can't afford whatever you want to afford, but one job just is not doing it anymore, right?
Yep, absolutely. My sister, who's now my very best friend, she tells me all the time, she graduated magna cum laude. Her IQ is so high. I feel like I should be scrubbing her toilet. Like, she's so smart. But she was in the legal field. She worked at a bank for 15 years. Even she's struggling, even though with her, how smart she is and how much knowledge she has, she worked Brad Pitt's bank account, believe it or not. I was like, she's like, don't say anything. But how cool is that? You know?
Can we share that now?
Yeah.
So is there any piece of advice that you want to give face painters who are kind of finding their way into becoming a professional artist?
I would say don't quit, because there will be so many times that you will want to quit. And there are, you know, it's just like, man, this is too much, or this is that. You can find a solution. There's always a solution to anything we encounter. I always tell my girlfriend, because she, you know, has issues in her life, and I tell her, girl, no matter how dirty something gets, you can always clean it. So
I love that.
yeah, definitely don't quit. If it's what you love, if it's healing you, do it. You know, I watercolor even professionally. I just don't advertise it.
Nice.
But I love it. If I could just watercolor for the rest of my life, I would do it. Just because now I'm in my 40s, women go through the premenopausal symptoms, and being outside in the heat is just like a no-no now.
Yeah.
It's hard. So, but that's what I would say. Don't quit. If you love it, don't quit. Keep going.
That's good advice. Good. I know for me, I've wanted to give up many times, but yeah, if it's anything like you said that's helping you move forward and not holding you back, like hold on to that for sure. Hold on to it. Thank you so much. It was so good to get to know you better, and I hope you guys got to know her better too.
I love Brooke. I love her so much.
This is my twin. So many people have mixed us up and thought that we were each other. So
And I was like, what? That's like so complimentary. Like, yes.
me too. I'm like, she's beautiful. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm like, she looks super young. Nobody thinks she's the age that she is. So I'm like, I'm doing
I'm
good.
40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We're
she was
doing
like,
good.
you're way younger. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
we're the
I
same
thought she was
age.
20 something in her 20s. So, youth. She got youth.
Okay, well, thank you guys. Bye.
Colors in the air, dancing in the light. This moment's ours, everything feels so bright. Laughing and grooving, with friends by my side.
Thank you so much.
Wow.